The following is me, Sarah, Neila Elkins, reading Book of CoL Recovery 1, Part 1, on Friday, September 13th, 2024. Okay. I'm gonna get started. So, like I said before, today I am going to be reading Book of CoL Recovery 1, Part 1. And next week, on Friday, I will read Part 2. So thank you for tuning in. Let's go. Book of CoL Recovery 1, Part 1. Power exhaustion, or power fatigue, is a phenomenon that has been observed in all classes of CoLs, save for Class S. Generally, each CoL has a limit when using their powers that they can reach, which induces a variable period of recovery time, called a cooldown. The cooldown length is shortest for Class D, taking only 2 to 3 days before they are able to fully use their abilities again. The longest cooldown period among CoLs appears to be for Class A, a full month. It is theorized, should a Class S reach their limit, it could take as much as a year before they would regain their powers in full. Excerpt from the Book of CoL, 2nd edition, Chapter 5, The Limit of Each Class and the Class Without Limits, by Dr. Rose Hailu. When I moved into Little Asgard Heights, I really didn't picture having a need for the building's gym. If I wanted to be more buff, I could just use my powers to increase my muscle mass or make myself stronger without altering how I looked. Now that I've temporarily lost my powers, I've found riding a stationary bike and messing around with the weights to be a good way to pass the time. It certainly gets my mind off my mom's failing health, for a little while anyway. My sister Constance and I are set to tour an assisted living facility at the end of the week. I shut my eyes while I pedal and think back about when I visited my sister and mother last week. "Where's my son? Where is he?" Mom said from the living room. "Son?" I asked. Constance looked away and winced. "She's been like this for a month. I thought it was a transient ischemic attack. A mini stroke, but I was wrong. It was a full-on stroke. I should have. I gave her a hug and held her tight. "It's okay, Constance." "It's not," she said with shaky breaths. "I fucked up, Paige. I fucked up so bad. Oh, God." "You didn't fuck up," I replied. "You got her to the hospital. You've taken care of her this whole time since the last stroke. I'm the one who dropped everything on you." "You didn't," she replied. "I pushed you away." "Can I see her?" I asked. Yeah, of course," she said while wiping tears from her eyes. Our mother sat in a wheelchair in Constance's living room. She seemed alert, but obviously confused, still asking where her son was. There was one period of time when I was younger and thought I might be a trans man rather than gender fluid. Sophomore year of high school, it lasted about a month. It was a year after our family formally adopted Constance. I remember telling our mom I didn't mind her calling me her son if she wanted, as long as it wasn't exactly wrong. She did it from time to time, but generally tried to keep things neutral or switch things up. I wasn't sure if this was her switching things up or if she was back in that month of my sophomore year when I insisted I only had the one set gender. It could have also been her thinking of one of the times I visited after becoming a CoL before my dad died. They'd both been impressed by my powers and said my masculine form looked like Dad with lighter hair. That had been before her first stroke. "I'm here, Mama," I said to her. "I'm right here. It's me, Paige." I pedaled harder on the bike as I remember how she looked at me. Confused. Like she was looking at a stranger. "Where's my son?" she had asked me. I want to scream. Whoa, are you okay? A voice snaps me back to the present. My feet slip off the pedals, which slam into the back of my calves hard. I lift my legs up to let the pedals continue on their way. Fuck, I hiss. Are you okay, Paige? Thunderskull asks from my right. There are plenty of free treadmills farther away, but he's set up on the one immediately to my right. His phone rests on the front console. A pair of wireless earbuds hang around his neck on the lanyard. He's also in basic form, a slim Latino man about my height, warm tan skin, dark hair, his right arm in a full cast and sling. The sweatshirt he's wearing over everything is far plainer than the one designed like night armor. This light gray one certainly looks easier to exercise in. I'm not sure of the exact reasoning, but more and more people around Little Asgard Heights have been staying basic when I'm around. I don't want to ask, but I do really want to know why they're doing it. I'm okay, I say. Is it because of your powers? He asks. No, I reply. I rest my feet on the pedals now that they've stopped moving. The backs of my legs throb. I'll probably have bruises. I haven't had bruises in 10 years. It's not that. I'm just thinking about some personal stuff. Your powers aren't personal? He asks, genuine confusion in his voice. I shut my eyes and tilt my head back. A few weeks have passed since my fight with Ezekiel and my stay in the hospital. I have been improving daily. My self-assessments now register me at almost Class C level. I say almost because while I can now hold a shapeshift where I've altered my hair and eyes for 2 hours, I can't change anything else the way a Class C can. Dr. Hailu's rating system classifies Cs as those who can change their gender expression and height for between 1 and 10 hours. Personally, I've been thinking of where I'm at as a D+, since I can now have purple hair for 2 hours when a normal Class D wouldn't be able to hold that shift that long. I couldn't even make myself an inch taller last night when I ran through my tests. I tried. It was exhausting. My powers are personal, I say to Thunderskull. I'm just thinking about my mom. She didn't recognize me the other day. Oh, shit, he says before stepping off the treadmill. You want to talk about it? No, I say. Thanks so, but I think I should call it a day and head back up to my place or something. Take a shower. He nods, then glances at me for a moment before gently touching his still injured arm. Paige, just, if you ever need something, I mean, you'll get better, and whatever's going on with your mom, let me know if you need anything at all. Last month, this guy shattered his arm when he punched me in the face. I was fine. Am a Class S CoL, so Thunderskull hitting me felt like a gnat. It was far more impactful for him. He has the cast to prove that. Eterna, my neighbor from across the hall, previously told me Thunderskull would do anything I asked after he broke his arm. Sure, he did show up with the other CoLs to help evacuate people from Ezekiel's church, but I didn't have any money riding on Thunderskull offering to help me personally. Everyone knows I've exhausted my powers, I think to myself. He's probably extra awkward because of that. Thanks, I say. I am a private detective. I just don't have business cards or an office set up yet. For the moment, I'm focusing on my recovery from power exhaustion, or power fatigue. I think exhaustion fits better, to be honest. I don't even feel up to taking the stairs right now, which is another reason I started using the gym. I need to rebuild my stamina the hard way. The elevator ride up to the second floor is short. I live in Unit 221 on the second floor. As usual, I find a small host of letters that have been slipped under the door. They're not as numerous as when I first moved in. At the time, people left them to say they wanted me to stay in the building, but while these still generally share that same sentiment, many now wish me a swift recovery. I set them on the counter before heading upstairs to take a shower. When I'm done, I go back to my kitchen and look over the latest folded pieces of paper and envelopes. There are 4 of them today. One wishes me a good day and blessings. May Loki's flame heal and warm me. Another bids me a speedy recovery in regaining my powers and includes a pressed daisy that I set it aside. Not sure what I'll do with the little flower, but it's cute. The 3rd letter was written by a child. It's hard to decipher the words, but they've drawn what I can only assume to be how I looked over the city last month. There are jagged buildings near the bottom of the paper, and a winged figure in the air above them, with a lot of red marker between him and a big spiny blob of cream and gray swirls. Oh great, I gave a child psychic damage, I say to myself as I set the drawing next to the little flower. The last letter is a sealed envelope. I open it and find a neatly written note with an apartment number listed. Renee Ainsbury, from apartment 460, wants to hire me for a case. Recovery 1, Part 1, Part 2. I take the elevator to the 4th floor of Little Asgard Heights. None of the units begin with odd numbers because each apartment is 2 stories. The 3rd and 5th floors are accessible only by building maintenance. Even then, it's just a narrow hallway that gives access to each unit's plumbing and heating controls. It's midday on Monday. There's not a lot of activity around the building right now. My hope is that Renee is home, but if not, I can leave a note with my number so they can call me when it's more convenient. The note I received didn't have any details about the job. I knocked 3 times on the door rather than ring the doorbell. Each unit in Little Asgard Heights is pretty big, but many CoLs have a habit of adjusting their hearing to be more sensitive, especially if they're waiting for a delivery or something. The chime for the doorbell is kind of loud. I don't want to hurt anyone in the adjacent apartments by pressing that button. A voice on the other side shouts, "Coming!" After some muffled curses, the door opens. A middle-aged person stands, barefoot. They have pale skin, long brown hair that's tied in a messy bun, jean shorts, and a white t-shirt with dark sleeves. "Hello, I'm Paige Simmons," I say. "Unit 221. I received a note saying Renee Ainsbury wanted to hire me for a detective job." "Renee Ainsbury. She and her," she says, before putting a hand out for me to shake. Nice to meet you. Mine are she, he, they, or whatever else," I reply. Renee shows me into her apartment. It's not fancy. The only furniture I see in the living area is the set each unit comes with. A simple sofa, small coffee table, and television on a plain stand. Reminds me of my place in that way. One key difference, however, is the table and sofa have been moved to the side, leaving an empty space in front of the TV. A pair of thin tracks are pressed into the carpet, leading to and from the empty space. The source of the tracks on the carpet becomes evident when I spot a wheelchair sitting by the shorter breakfast table at the end of the kitchen peninsula. I make note of the electric chair lift that's bolted to the staircase wall. The kitchen counter holds more appliances than my own. I really need to get a microwave. "What can I do for you, Renee?" I ask. "Do you mind if I sit?" "Not at all." She walks to the wheelchair, turns it around, then sits. Once she's settled, Renee returns to basic, the lower portions of her legs shrinking away into a pair of uneven stumps just below each knee. "Thanks," she says, a bit winded. "No problem," I reply. "I'm a Class C," Renee explains. "I can shift to have my legs back, but not for long. An hour tops if I push it. Lost them in a car accident 3 years ago, and then a year later, I became a mimic." I make a mental note to remember Renee identifies as a mimic rather than a CoL. She's not the first mimic I've met. Quite a few people prefer the secular term. You've been through a lot, I say. I have, but enough about me. I need you to find my wheelchair. Not this one, my electric one, she says. It was stolen about a month ago in the middle of the night. I couldn't get downstairs before whoever broke in was gone. Have you filed a police report? I ask, before remembering how terrible the cops have been towards CoLs in this city. The police force is under federal investigation after the incident with Ezekiel last month. The department was beyond corrupt. They helped kidnap a child and his mother. I tried, she says. They blew me off. Told me they didn't need to waste time tracking down my scooter. Said I could just get another one or walk it off since I'm a CoL. I'm so sorry, I say. You didn't do it, she counters. Anyway, I haven't been able to figure out who stole it. Maintenance fixed the door and all, but I need my chair back. The insurance won't cover a replacement until I can show proof it was stolen or damaged. They take a police report, but I didn't get to file one. I need it back, or at least part of it, if I'm going to be able to get a new chair. How much does a new chair like the stolen one cost? $3,600, Renee replies. That's as much as the used motorcycles I was looking at online, I think to myself. Holy shit. Wow, I say. I need the chair. I usually only shift my legs to get in and out of the bath or my bed. That shift I just did was exhausting. I know that feeling, I say before wincing. Shit. No, you don't, Renee says sharply. I get you've lost your powers, but it is in no way the same. When you could shift, did you ever do it so you lost a limb? No, I admit. Of course not. I apologize, I say. I was out of line. You didn't mean anything negative by it, she says with a sigh. I'm just so tired of people telling me they know what it's like. Even other people with powers like you do it. But no one ever shapeshifts to lose something or make themselves disabled. It's not the same as losing one's powers. You're right, I agree. Renee takes a deep breath and lets it out slowly before pulling her phone out of a pouch attached to her wheelchair. I come closer when she motions for me to do so. She holds up the screen to show me a photo of the missing chair. This is what it looked like. I can text you photos. I'd appreciate that, I reply as I get my phone out of my pocket. My number is 1512. I have your number, she says. What? Here is the art for this chapter. Eterna removed you from the group chat, but she gave me your number to me, Renee says before my phone buzzes. Last month, Eterna organized a massive group text so we could coordinate as many CoLs as possible while I infiltrated the most prominent cool church in Austin. The pastor, Ezekiel, kidnapped his own child, then the boy's mother, murdered several people, and was using his powers to perpetuate a hoax. He claimed the 10-year-old had gained powers. That's impossible. The group chat had been very active before my fight with Ezekiel, but it went silent while I was in the hospital. And now I know why. Eterna removed me from the chat entirely. I had to turn over a copy of the conversation log to the FBI. I really hope that doesn't bite anyone in the ass later. I wasn't sure if you'd even come or not. What are your rates? Renee asks. I'll do this pro bono, I reply. She just stares at me. I don't have an agency set up yet, and I'm not sure how long it would take to find your chair or whoever stole it, I explain. You've already had to deal with shitty cops and all. I don't want to charge you. I need to pay you something, she says. This isn't because I snapped at you a minute ago. No, I reply. I honestly don't know what I should charge at this point. I'm still getting my bearings as a PI. We can consider this a neighbor helping neighbor thing. Fine, she says. I look over the photos she sent me. She's included some other information. The make, model, and serial number of the chair. It's blue with a comfortable looking seat, more substantial storage in the back than her manual wheelchair. Was there anything valuable in these storage areas? My wallet and IDs, she says. Were you able to get replacements for the IDs? Still waiting on those, but I did get the credit cards canceled. The new ones arrived last week, Renee says. I noticed you're on the same floor as Thunderskull. Was he having a party the night your chair was stolen? No, he wasn't. It was a quiet night besides the break-in. I nod. Okay. Well, if you think of anything else, please let me know. I'm going to go see what I can get out of the building security. Good luck. That guy's a dick. If you've enjoyed listening to me read Book of CoL Recovery, you can subscribe and like here on YouTube, and read Book of CoL in its entirety on Tapas. Please read Slayer of Yggdrasil on Tapas, my entry in the Tapas Action Fantasy Novel Writing Contest. It follows Rebecca Holt as she is thrust into a fantasy world and must defeat and destroy a corrupted world tree Yggdrasil with the help of Atartangi, the talking axe that possesses her body. As always, thanks for listening. Bye.